Also, don't let anybody touch the cameras while you're live,
Yep, yep. Well,
because
you
you'll
know,
see one of my streams, which I have to, I'll send it to you guys and you guys can give me your opinion. It's a great interview, but somebody who was not part of the team was adjusting the cameras. So it's like this.
I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing about the whole and of course that would be how that works, right? Because, you know, life is never ever going to be perfect. This is the reality. So having these hiccups, and I all I can really compare it to, well, actually, I've had hiccups on everything, whether I've gone live streaming, whether I know one of my first classes when I taught yoga after my teacher training, I had a medical emergency within like this first class, right? Which, you know, you can go to hundreds of thousands of yoga classes and never have a medical emergency. But my first teaching class, we have this, right? So it's like, it prepares you because once you've dealt with it, now you go forward with all this new information and this new experience, right? And
Well,
that,
it was actually really good because, I've done a lot of interviewing, but I like it was interviewing or walking around interviewing people. So it was more free flow.
yeah,
Whereas now I know when you sit down at an event to interview people, it's not as free flow, but not as perfectly planned as a one-on-one interview.
yeah.
So I think like everybody learned that day. And then as I said, okay, that they're gonna have breaks. We're not sure when they are. We're just gonna sit here as soon as they happen. We're gonna start grabbing people. Whether it's a sponsor, which is good for the event, or whether it's a panelist, because then that's good for the audience. But it was definitely a learning curve because I think a lot of times you say I'm going to show up to do something, and like you said, it's not going to go perfect even if you wanted to. Um, but how different one-on-one is, walking around with a mic is, and then a event interviewing. It's anyways, okay.
Well, you point out that like they're completely different experiences, even though you're doing essentially the same thing. It's a different experience in all three of those conditions, right? So having that ability to adapt, which you can only get, which we're going to talk about today, by actually starting to go forward. Because if you wouldn't be have made the videos with the one-on-ones and the Naples series, right? And then if you wouldn't have had the experience of going and just talking to, vendors, organically, and then having this is just giving you a more rounded experience. So the more you do it, the more, you're not really caught off guard, right? You just get more adaptable. You go, okay, well, this worked this way, or you're just kind of calculating, well, let's just go with this, right? So it gives you that confidence that you get better and better and better. And that's the only way you can even improve your content, is having these experiences so you can adapt and learn. Oh, I can't hear you.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We have background noise, so I try to turn off the mic. Absolutely. I would have never thought, can I get the schedule in advance so I know when the breaks are?
Yeah.
It's logical, which we figured out as we're sitting there, but unless you're taught, given a format to do it, or you experience it.
Well,
And now we
exactly,
know.
exactly, right? Like
I got
getting
a
a
schedule before we show up.
exactly. And it's one of those things that you can now be building a list, and this can be things that you can help other people, right? Because now you're learning this. You start putting your tips. Now, it's kind of funny because I always think about like the tips that you get, and then you'll remember them, but then one time you won't remember something, and then you get that learning experience from it, and then you never ever forget that tip because whatever it causes that you get to learn from, right? So it's all, I always think of it as how you adapt is really the key, right? So,
I will never
all the
forget
stuff
the
that's going to
sign.
happen,
Nope. I will never
it
forget the
is.
sign that says do not touch camera.
Exactly. Get a big sign. You can even get it like laminated, professionally done, have it on like the stand, right?
Velcro to the stand every time we go somewhere. Do not touch the cameras.
I know this might sound excessive. However, I would even maybe recommend you get pylons and put pylons a couple feet around it, like a
I was thinking
circle.
cones, but yes, I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah, yeah,
Something
exactly.
that's just like, don't go in this area. And I think we've
Exactly.
never had that happen before.
You know what? Even with pylon cones and a sign, still doesn't mean you're gonna have nobody go in your space. However, that is one thing you can do on your due diligence to attempt to alleviate any potential chaos. Doesn't guarantee it's not going to be that somebody's going to fall into your camera anyways, or some kid comes by and starts pushing the pylons to knock over your camera. We can only
Well,
work
now we've
within
all
what we
learned
can
something new
control.
today from Kristen. Have a schedule if you're interviewing at an event, so you know when your breaks are. And then you can tell your audience. That's what I was most frustrated, is I wanted to be able to say, we'll be back on the next break at approximately 11:30. We'll be back on the lunch break at 12:30. We were wrapping up at 2 o'clock. So we're going to have some interviews at the end. Pop in when you like. I wanted to announce the schedule next time in advance so people know, oh, I can tune in. Or
Exactly.
even put it up on the slide that when we say we're gonna be here, this is our approximate schedule of going live, you
And
know?
that's exactly, well, that's a lot of what we're learning as well about getting, like, I don't know if you guys did see, but on the one YouTube channel, we did put the like the live stream, coming up message. And we're working on, because we actually didn't know that in the last month there has been some changes with Restream. So now I can set up an event on YouTube so people can be notified that I'm going live and when it's going live, and we can actually feed the back end from the live stream. We have not mastered it because we went to do it Thursday and it didn't work quite right. It worked partially, but not exactly how we thought it was working. So we're
Yes.
still working through those. But this is the whole thing, is the only way we get better is having these experiences, trying new things, and then adding them to our production list, right? So now when you go to an event, you're going to ask for at least even a rough schedule so you can let people know, right? And that's going to be very, very powerful, because yeah, then you can have, like, even make like we have here, where there's a little image, have it up with the different speakers at the different times approximately, right? So then the person knows. So you're going to be more successful, that if somebody's interested, they'll come back or wait for that interview, right? So it is this interesting process, but the only way you get to these epiphanies is going through the practice of doing these things and pushing yourself out of your comfort zone so you can get better, right? Because you're just going to get better and better. It doesn't mean you're not going to have another event where something else happens and then you learn something new, but it's going to improve your skills, right? Do you have anything on that, Mike, that you would suggest or be adaptable? Because I know when you were at your event, nobody showed up for your live speaking at the Home and Garden, and so you went with it, and what was your learning on that, right? So,
Always be prepared because you just don't know. I was prepared for in person. I was having that, like, when you're a stage speaker, no matter if you're in person in front of one to five on a stage, 1 to 50 to 1 to 100, or virtual, um audience is going to change, right? So you may have an idea of what your speech is going to be, and then questions are going to be different, and you just have to roll with it. You've got enough experience, you're used to talking to people, just roll with it. They're there to hear from you. So when I'm got a stage event and there is absolutely zero in-person audience, and I was like, okay, great. And this is advertised, and they were on the loudspeaker, but so I wasn't there for gardening. I wasn't there to teach people about their tomatoes or their flowers or anything like that. So I'm like, okay, obviously they wanted to have a full slate of speakers. Nobody was interested in computer security. So it's like, you know what? That's great. That's fine because I've got my lead magnets with me. I've got my password sheet with me. So I've got my laptop. As long as I can rig it up and I can hit live and stream it everywhere, I'm going to deliver my speech and record it. So that way I can review my speaking notes and my pace and the voice fluctuations, and just keep training myself for presentation style, because you're going to be, again, tomorrow you've got clients, so you need to sell your clients on your ideas, and doesn't matter what industry you're in, realtor, plumber, website designer, tech support, YouTube coaching, YouTube production manager, doesn't matter what you're doing. You need to be able to have a conversation with people and explain why You are the what point you're trying to get across, what you're trying to sell, what you're trying to pitch, whatever. So,
Well,
I
you
roll, I've
actually
got enough experience with it. I've bombed on stage before where people tell me you sounded great, and other people said I didn't like anything you talked about. I'm like, thank you for the feedback. If you're telling me you don't like what you listened to, that means you need to learn a lot. Because I'm just giving you my life experiences, and whether or not you believe my life experiences or not, that's your problem.
well, it's interesting because I guess the point that I wanted to kind of highlight from your going, you went live and did it as a live. It was probably one of your best presentations that we still have to go. I didn't get a chance to update because we're going through what we've been doing with our YouTube University students is going through checking thumbnails, checking descriptions, and I haven't gotten to that one, but that was probably one of your best um one of your best videos that you did and teaching people how the passwords work. So
Yeah, I'm
it's
just gonna,
interesting that it was like taking a situation that, yeah, you could be sad, you could not show up, but you're like, you know what, I came to present, so I'm still going to show up. And whether I have to bring the audience here and put up my camera, turn it on, and push it onto the interwebs, right into the internet, because the physical people didn't show up, you still showed up. And without that, you wouldn't now have this content that's really good and that you've gotten better at speaking. So that's the point of continuing to show up, even if you don't have the perfect scenario, even if you don't have your schedule, even if you don't have whatever, going with it and then putting it on your list so next time you go to that scenario or go to do your live, you're still prepared. So again, anytime Mike shows up for an event, if nobody shows up, he's going to have his stuff to go live, that he's still going to make it worth using that space, right?
I've got one back end question for you. So right now, it did not like the pre-scheduled event and restream that you set up. So I'm like, whatever. I'm just gonna go make a brand new one, get a new custom key, and stream it. So we're streaming right now to my YouTube, the I am YouTube famous YouTube. It will not restream for some reason to the Facebook group. It keeps giving me an error message. My Facebook it's streaming to, and my LinkedIn it's streaming to. Do you want me to stream it to your Facebook or
Sure.
your YouTube?
Sure. Well, throw it wherever you think it's.
Wherever I don't get an error message is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
just let it. We're fine tuning it. We're just gonna go with wherever today it wants to go because we did this morning. We were last night. We found some interesting things where my one browser would not open our website, but it would work on another browser. We thought it was just my stuff. Then this morning, the website isn't even working, so we don't, which is appropriate. I'm going to take a step back because what I talk about on my own channel is the astrology, the numerology, the elements. And specifically today, we are leaving. We've just left, actually, about the last 48 hours, we left Uranus in Taurus, which was all about finances and like we're a lot of these themes overlap, but we were in this specific period we've been since 2018. Okay, so now today we're going into a new 7-year period of Uranus in Gemini, which brings up a lot of disruption, especially in communication and technology. So it seems very appropriate if you're having any technology issues that this would be happening because that is in the astrology. So that's my side note of, we just have to go with it because we're not going to not show up. We're just going to work with what is going to work with us today. And that's all we can do, right? Like you just go with the flow until we can get it more perfected. But again, perfection is probably never the end result in anything. So yeah, are we on as many platforms as possible now?
We've got an account for 5, so I'm just verifying in the back end it's streaming to your YouTube, and if it is streaming to your YouTube, I need to go turn on all the manual stuff. So flick on monetization, flick on mid-roll ads, all the stuff we haven't even introduced to this class.
I know. Well, it's all the stuff we're teaching in our visibility engineering program, which we're going to talk about a little bit today because we will be starting the second round. We'll be going starting June 1st will be the second round of it, and we are teaching a lot of the really important back end things to help you get more seen. So these are just, we're just putting this all together. So we're not, we can talk about it, but we're essentially making the plan for each person to make it an easy process, or as easy as possible to get your message out and get all the back end stuff working. But as you can even see, even when you have a process and you're using things, at any point, technology can just have an astrology day and just decide to not work. And and you just have to go with it. And the more you practice, the more you can get over those hurdles easier without it flustering you, without it stopping you from going forward. And I think that's the big thing, is just being able to be adaptable, because the reality we live in is the only thing that's constant is change. So even when you've got a process that works 99% of the time, there will be this one day where internet's not working, this isn't working, something doesn't work well. So getting to be able to be adaptable to still show up and work around whatever hurdles you're having that day, right? And just having that flexibility of, okay, this might be what I wanted to do today, but that's not going to necessarily work the way I visioned it, because this tool's not working, or this just disappeared and decided to magically, it's removed itself, or whatever weird situation happens, right? Like you've missed the agenda. We just get flexible, adaptable, and go forward. And that's part of, I think, the key of being successful in creating content in the long run is being able to continuously adapt, be okay with not perfect content, but look at your content and look at how you're doing, and then being able to reflect on how you can do it better. So then when you have that situation next time, you can hopefully have less issues. Hopefully, right? And then it'll flow a little bit easier. But why don't we talk about what I wanted to cover today, unless anybody's got any other questions before we get into it, because I know we have a few participants. So if there's anybody, I don't think there's any hands up. So I'll leave it for another moment if there is any pertinent questions, and then we can jump into what we were going to discuss today. Okay. Do you have the first slide, since I never got that one? Do you need me to unshare for you to share it?
What slide are you talking about?
The ROI one.
No, because I'm still trying to get it out of Claude.
So we don't have it at all.
I think I have the like redacted one, but the full one is like corrupted or something, so I have to remake it.
And this was not from not planning. I only mentioned this as
I
my
know,
husband
but my
got
computer
snappy at me yesterday. I mentioned it easily 5 times that I wanted it. Didn't get it yesterday. This morning I mentioned it, but of course now it's corrupted because we've been having technology
Oh,
issues.
because my computer.
So yeah, there we go. I'm just saying, so you know that I asked you multiple times and you gave me attitude yesterday, and that should have been done yesterday. So I don't have this return because that was very important to the process. Why don't you bring the redacted, and then you can talk about what it is from your memory then, since we don't have an
Can you
image.
Okay.
Is it on Canva, or is that not where you made it?
Not in Canva, it's in.
Perfectly imperfect. Here you go.
It's because I had to fix things yesterday.
I know, we're always fixing
And
things.
my computer is like permanently out of space. Because there's all this video on this thing. So why is it not letting me? Oh my God. So just keep talking till I get it open.
Well, I don't. What do you want me to talk about? This was what I was going to talk about now. Return on, okay. So what we're going to look at today is all of the return on investment. So the stuff, the benefits you're going to get from just making and showing up regularly, creating content. Okay. But what's come up is the details of how you can start to get monetized on YouTube, even without hitting full monetization. So there's actually 2 different levels of monetization that are happening at YouTube. So there's one option where where the first level, you get to I think it's 500 subs and 1,000 watch hours, and you unlock a whole bunch of different things. And we've got the list, so we'll go over that. And then you've got your normal when you get to your 4,000 watch hours and your 3,000 subs or 4,000, whatever it is. It's on the screen. We're going to go over. And then you get also the Google ads. So there's the one level where you get the Google ads. Then there's a level where you can unlock to take advantage of a whole bunch of other perks, like if people want to send you super chats or there's like all these like gifts and stuff like that. There's a whole bunch. There's even ways you can even make memberships on YouTube, which would be something similar to if you've followed anybody on Patreon or School, where people can sign up for things like that. That would be YouTube's version with memberships. All those become accessible without you getting to the full monetization. And then there's also some tips on what really helps small creators get to that 1,000 subs, right? So 1,000 is what you really want because you know, to get monetized. But if we get you that 500 and you start unlocking things, just, those are super helpful. And then we also wanted to really highlight again that monetization isn't necessarily the end result. And I know that when you go look anything up for how to be successful, it's always about monetization on YouTube. Always about monetization, monetization, monetization. And fair enough, like if you're making video and content and you can make some money off of it, wonderful, wonderful, right? Like being able to go spend a few hours and get some payback on making that content, whether you do a live and then make it into clips, or whether you're doing interviews and then breaking them down. Yes, getting compensated for it is wonderful. However, for most of the people, like our main focus is small businesses and creators that are kind of branding, which again, if you're creator branding, you've got a business. The perspective we want to bring in is how much more value it is to reach 3 clients versus make $500 on YouTube, right? Like if you had the choice to get 3 new clients every month versus only make $500, obviously you want both, but 3 new clients can easily be in a year, you know, however your services are worth, right? They can add up and whatever that value is for what industry you're in. So we really want to look at the ability to get your message out and why this is so important. And it's beyond the monetization. The monetization is like, oh, yay, after you've been doing it, you're finding the people that know about your business, you're finding your clients, you're putting the signal out, they're finding you, you're making, you know, money, they're contacting you for whatever services you're offering because they found you online and you got a presence. That is payoff and value you get much quicker than necessarily monetization. There is few people that monetize their channel very quickly unless they get some kind of trend or hit some kind of niche and then just go off of it and build it. I know it's not impossible. However, for the majority of us, we're probably not going to have that perfect opportunity and that perfect creative thing that we can keep building off of and keep having momentum without it being some kind of trend, if that makes sense. Any luck with any of the forms, Mike, or the images?
Okay, I have it up. Okay, so now you're expecting me to share a screen off Zoom. Okay.
I will stop sharing so you can share your screen.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, I need to move this little Zoom thing out of the way. Okay, so this is the redacted version. Students in our 8-week visibility engine install get the full version. So there is so many different there's so many different ways. I just want to articulate that there's so many ways to realize return on investment from building out your YouTube channel before you hit the YouTube partner program and start and qualify for AdSense sharing. This is what we're trying to elaborate on. So, step 1, broadcast principle, same time, same day, audience ownership. Radio and TV built their empires on appointment-based loyalty. Showing up, making content, same time, same day of the same week. You are building an audience, and with proper call to actions, you can get your audience to, you know, you're attracting your ideal audience. You can get them to buy your book, subscribe to your channel, um, hire your services, like all the stuff you want them to do. You build that into your script. You go live weekly, maybe multiple times. Julie's done a good job. She's doing multiple times per week, and she's seen that she had putting in the call to actions for her app. She's had beta testers sign up for her app. She's had she has digital downloads that she shares with her audience, and they've gone and she's had purchases of those digital downloads. So showing up on video, same time, same place, every single week allows you to get video, put the call to actions out there, have your audience buy from you, connect with you, book in your schedule. And the great thing with going live every single week, you can then cut those lives down to shorts. And as we've said, your shorts are advertisements for your long. So it's just that, ROI right there. Being consistent, recording every single week, building that audience, getting that long form video, chopping it. You've got video assets, learning the process of making those in your storytelling, making those longs into shorts. Because guess what? As you're building the audience, you're gonna have a small audience. Um, in the visibility engine, our 8-week course, we are teaching the students how to use Restream. It's the same platform we're doing this class on to broadcast to multiple different social media platforms. And Restream is giving us analytics. So we know that Julie had already brought up the numbers. Like, numbers can be weird because when we search for her YouTube's saying 1.8 million views. And I'm like, well, is that 1.8 million different people, different you like what is that number consist of? And then Restream is showing us, hey, you had more people watching you on Facebook than YouTube. But of course, Facebook, that content isn't really searchable. But the audience, you as a creator are going to have audiences across many different platforms. And this is what we're doing is helping you, empowering you, reminding you to put out as much content as possible so we can learn which formats, which type of storytelling you're doing is going to bring you more audience. And then,
Oh, and
learning.
I want to add to this as well is that doing the videos live is building your authority. Or whether it's live or recorded, but showing up on a regular basis is building your authority in whatever area you are promoting, working within. So then you're going to build up that trust, that know, trust, and like with people. And like anything else, it does take, like very rarely is it going to be instant. And I know like that's what stops people from doing YouTube is they're looking monetization, looking for the views, they're looking for the watch time. And yeah, those are all great to get some money when you get to that monetization end. But if that's your only focus and you don't have success early on with that, you're going to jump off the boat and you're not going to show up and you're not going to get better at making content. You're not going to be reaching out to your possible viewers, customers. So we have to really, I want people to change the way they see making content, and that the return on investment is not necessarily the numbers vanity numbers that people like to push. Like, oh, we'll get you 1 million views when you work with us. And like the one guy who's like, we hope you never hire us again. And it's like, okay, but what's the plan of strategy for that person to continue after the fact? If you help them get pushed once and they get 1 million views on this content, do you help them go forward that they can continue to make content, continue showing up, continue to building on that momentum? Because if, it's just very much like people that have that one trend and then they can't keep up with it. And mentally is usually where we will break down our process is we don't think we're good enough. We're not getting the views we think we should be getting. We're not getting the hours of watch time. Whatever the shoulds are, and these conversations we have will be our hurdle for taking that next step. Because everybody we talk to, and this comes up as the number one objection to doing this, is, well, first off, everybody knows they need to do it, but it's time. And then you think about all the time you thought about of all the excuses not to do it. You could have put all that time with the excuses and what you built up to not do it to start actually going forward, to start making content and start making better content, because you're not going to get better by imagining you're doing content, by imagining you're posting, by imagining you're showing up. We will hold you accountable. Like Mike is literally texting our students almost daily to follow up with them. We're doing private one-on-one, and we are doing specifically plans with each person on what they're promoting, what their schedule's like, and why they want to do it. And so we're fine-tuning a process for each of them individually. We have smirk there, Mike. What's that smirk for?
Reminding them to, oh no, I literally this is what the whole point of the visibility engine is, for us to build out your YouTube with the tips and tricks we've learned, because we even learned more stuff yesterday, and I was like, okay, this is, this is why we're building up this massive production checklist where we're giving it to you in bits and pieces when you get to certain levels, because we know there's so much we learned from doing YouTube over the years. And this is why I've started recording all the ways, all the ways I see ROI where you may not be actually calculating it, because if it's not a client in your inbox today or cash from YouTube's AdSense today, as we see my wife's numbers and we're like, oh, it's like $3 this day and $4, like it's just like, where are the
What
eyeballs?
keeps you motivated? I think that's really the thing, is you have to stay motivated, even if because if you're looking at the vanity numbers, but you don't quite match those vanity numbers, falling off the wagon of practicing and getting better and reaching out is counterproductive to your success in making content to help get your business, personality, whatever it is that you want visible. Not showing up is not going to help you. But so we got the return on investments. You're getting your own platform, like we talked about with Mike, showing up and going live, even though there was nobody in, physically in there, right? So like you are building your own content or platform. You've got it all stored. One thing I want to make a comment. The reason we always promote YouTube as your long end and then promoting it everywhere else is in case something happens at one of them, you can still get your content. Because that actually happened to me this week, because I found a specific way. If you do processes with YouTube with the videos, I accidentally deleted shorts, not understanding that when you do a live or post any video, you can trim and edit it on YouTube. Now, if you put it up and then you make shorts from it and then go after the fact, and I edited, so I took out 30 seconds of blank time I deleted all the shorts I had made on my live. So what was interesting, though, I had them backed up because I had already some of the videos were already posted to other platforms that I could see them, so I could get them that way. And I also had been I'd been posting them to putting them on the repurpose and repurposing them to other platforms. So I did actually have a back end of them. But now I learned that process, that if you want to trim your video, you do that before you do shorts. And this is just us learning through our mistakes and hours of fixing it, so you don't have to necessarily do it. Doesn't mean you're not going to do it, but we're attempting to make it easier that you don't have to go through those. But what I wanted to talk about, so if you want to stop sharing your screen, let's jump into what YouTube has done and some of the suggestions here. So yeah, there you go. Let's see.
You expect me to know how to use Zoom? Well, we some of our students use Zoom. A lot of them are just in restreams, so this is why we're here to step you through. If you want to do your events on Zoom, it's important to have a production manager in the back end, making sure everything works properly.
Okay, why do I not see my screen? Oh my goodness. Okay, oops.
I see your YouTube University screen and you just stop sharing it.
Oh my gosh, I don't understand what just happened. Okay, sharing this. Okay, why is this other image coming up? That is not the image I'm on. I can't even see the image. I can't even see the screen. There we go. Why is it? I'll pretend like I understand how technology works. Okay, anyways, so the first thing I wanted to cover is first the strategies that are recommended to get to your 1,000 subs. Okay. So these are some of the strategies, especially vidIQ is one of the places we've talked about where they give a lot of information. And so I just summarized it up to kind of go over what some of the techniques and things people have done that really help them get to that 1,000 subs. And these are the things that seem to make a bigger difference. So first thing, and this all keeps coming back to, which is actually appropriate to what Kirsten was saying about time. Okay. So when we go to number one, use better end screen. So there is a way on your YouTube, once it's loaded, to go in the editor and put an end screen and link it back to a playlist of your own. So you keep users in your stream of content. And we've been going through and actually just seeing where, because I have a bunch of content and I've had this, but now we're actively putting a plan of, well, which playlist do we want it on, right? So it's relevant screens keep the viewers longer, watching your content longer. And then there's more session time, more recommendations, and then you get more subscribers. So that is one easier thing you can do is add these end screens. And so that means you've got to be putting in, making playlists, and then you can link them to the playlist. So this is one strategy that you could easily start to implement and help reach more people. Is keep them in your loop, right? So then they're being recommended your next video, then your next video. The next thing that was recommended, there's 4 of them we're going to go over, as you might see here on my screen, is expand your niche. So you're not abandoning it, but build around it. So the idea would be, okay, you're in whatever your niche is to maybe outsource things that are related to your niche. So Mike mentioned, now I'm doing a second live. So I've expanded my niche. My niche is the weekly energy. I'm still doing all of that, but I'm like, well, what do as a second weekly live. This would be the idea of expanding my niche. And I actually brought Mike in because now what I'm doing is I'm highlighting something energetically or something that's happening in a real world. And then we're talking about it more in depth on the second show. And this week recently was about this transition that I mentioned from Uranus and Taurus to Uranus in Gemini, which is today. Today is this Uranus in Gemini, which brings up a huge amount of communication and technology. So I had a lot of screens on technology. So how I was expanding my reach is into this information on technology. And I actually brought Mike in as a guest to speak on those type of concepts. That's just the way I've looked at expanding my niche. But there's some ideas is what does your audience watch that's around your niche? Problem. So like what's a problem before, problem after with your niche, related topics. So it just helps you get more people that are interested, expand your topics, and also helps to give you more ideas maybe to expand that you don't have to just stay in this one little tiny bubble. And it's not, because again, if you are showing up regularly and watching your content, making shorts from your content, expanding on your content, and actively doing your best to improve your content, this is just another way to do it, right? Give you more ideas, give you more ways to go because creativity we can hit blocks, right? So this would be an idea with that. And then one of the other recommendations with niches I had seen recently was making videos outside your niche from other niches for your niche. Okay. So let me visualize this for you. So example would be somebody did a commercial for I think it's like a honey product or something like a natural product, but they were using a theme that naturally you'd normally see in how they would sell beer. So it was like this trend that they would do, and this would be how they'd sell the beer. So they just adapted it, doing a similar thing, but for their niche. So it was kind of humorous how they were selling it. So that was another way of how to expand, looking at other ideas, even if it's not your specific industry, how they're doing a live or how they're doing something. And is there things you could take in to expand and make your content more interesting, right? I guess, are there any questions? Is there anything you want to add to this screen before we jump on to the next two strategies, Mike?
I think so. I think just more so giving what we're doing in the visibility engine and coaching is giving you more ideas because you it just we're our students, a couple of our students, they had weekend trips. And I said, hey, we've been training you to do lives, answer questions with us on screen so we can make some content and get you comfortable with being on camera. And they were both going away this weekend. And they mentioned they had tripods. I'm like, homework for this weekend, get take your tripod with you and just get comfortable. Our training so far with them has been, on Restream and just recording their environment using Restream and live streaming, just to get them comfortable with that. I'm like, hey, take your phone, get your tripod, and do some B-roll. Just like just make some content, you and your phone, so we can add that level onto it. And then, it's just we're here to give you ideas because there's so many different um ways to start building out your content. Yesterday, Thursday, Friday, I had a lot of calls with people I know that booked in my calendar saying, well, how do I make content from my industry because I'm in insurance or financial consulting or hormone consulting for women or whatever. And I'm like, hey, do you have books? They're like, yeah, I'm a co-author. And I'm like, "Sit- do story time, go live and introduce." I'm like, most of your do all your friends know you're an author? Have your friends bought your book? No. Maybe not. So I'm like, I'm sure you've got some book links on Amazon. How about you live stream you reading a couple pages from your book or a chapter a week or like just
Mhm.
just make content because we need to get comfortable with it, but then also the storytelling aspects of it. Because as Kristen said, as she's repeating her processes, she's just getting ideas. Oh, wait, I need to add this. I need to add this. I need to add this. And that's a lot of stuff that internally you're adding to you need to add to your production checklist because no matter how prepared we think we are, there's always something that's going to catch you. But it's okay because it's a learning process. So we're like, okay, this week this worked well. Next week maybe maybe the next time you go live or shoot video, you're like, oh, this didn't work or this didn't work. And you're like, okay, mentally I know that if I'm in a different surrounding, I have to check on the lighting, check on the not, check on the cameras,
Oh
check
my
on the
gosh, even if you're
microphones.
not, you were prepared yesterday, everything worked, and then we wake up this morning and we had 2 hours to
But
prepare and we were still struggling to prepare.
it's to acknowledge it and accept that it's never, even if you want it to be perfect, it's likely not going to be perfect. And our goal is to not get stuck with worrying about the things
Perfectionism.
about perfection.
Yeah.
Just keep
Well,
on
and
rolling.
and if well, sorry to cut you off, but if you are stuck on professionalism, you're never going to have this better end screen because you're never going to have content in a playlist to forward
I,
back to your
not,
users.
not not number one thing we tell our students about just make the content because we need to learn. We need you to get comfortable with the camera or cameras or the environment because you may go from shooting lives and then be asked to be a a co-podcast. We've got some of our students are like, "Hey, I've been asked to be on podcasts. I've never done it before." I'm like, "Great. So now let's get all these other methods of content. Let's get you comfortable with different styles of making content. If you go on somebody else's podcast, make sure you get a copy of it and upload it to your YouTube because then you can play with editing it down into shorts and learning these concepts that we're communicating with you. But if you don't have the content, you can't apply these skills to that content, especially with the end screens and playlists and all that stuff, right?
Well, and it also comes in as we continue looking here at the strategies they suggested, okay? So you'll see how these all just feed into each other, right? So it's so we've got, which I kind of already mentioned as well, was a collaboration. So I brought Mike in, and it also talks about like collaborating is a great way. And we've got like this YouTube university. So reaching out to other people on this platform, or people that might be of interest that may not even be in your industry per se, but like, Mike and more in tech. So I'm getting his perspective, even though I do have a tech background, but I wanted his perspective of it. So using that, and it says, don't chase big creators, chase aligned audiences. So that also can just be somebody else who would work well with your similar audience, right? So it's bringing in other people, and then you're combining both of your audiences so you can both promote it. So that's another big one to help get to that 1,000 subscribers, is use collaborations. Mike's been doing that with our YouTube University students. They've been collaborating on their lives to help Mike promote YouTube University, that he's working with them, and to help them get more comfortable in front of the camera.
It's already got more leads.
Exactly.
It's funny how small the world is. And I'm like, wait a minute, I have somebody calling me to book an appointment with Julie for next Wednesday as a female creator, and this person's been on live streams with us. So it's just collaboration. And being
And that's
open
and that's the effect.
and being open to it.
Well, and that's the effect of being seen, right? Is that they're building that trust. They see that somebody else they know. You've started to and then they're like, okay, well, I built this trust because this person trusts them. And so it's like, if we think about it, it's the small town community now on World Wide Web, right? So in a small town, you knew, like, trusted this person, and then you would recommend them if somebody new was in town. Well, now we're creating our own, like, hemispheres of villages and towns with people we are working with. And then they know you, and they might physically know you, or they might have built a relationship. Especially over these last 6 years, communication has changed so much, which is going to continue under this Uranus and Gemini. Communication, especially online digital communication, right? So it's just, if we think about it in that way, it's like creating your new village of people, and then through that, it is definitely the idea of, if you guys ever follow Everybody's Essentially Knows Kevin Bacon, it's like, what, the 3 degrees of Kevin Bacon?
6 degrees.
6 degrees, everybody's like somehow related to Kevin Bacon. It's this humorous thing, but that is actually how humanity kind of runs. Is that, I know Canadians will get this joke. Oh, well, you must know John who lives in this place. Sometimes, ironically, we actually do, right? Because of how small the world kind of is at a level. So use collaborations. That is a great way, especially if you're struggling to get started, because that's also going to commit to you showing up. So even if it, like, I know Kirsten's doing that with the interviews, and that's a great way to commit to showing up for yourself, is committing to help somebody else, collaborating with them, or using them as an interview, and then you showing up. So collaborations are really powerful. And then the fourth big thing is make stronger long form videos. Now, we're going to go into this, but it was interesting because I was kind of, as I was going through it, I'm like, well, you can't make better content if you don't make content to begin with. So how can you make better long form content if you don't have content to even review and start looking at yourself to see what you're producing anyways, right? So long form isn't dead. Long form videos actually create session time when they're good. So the idea is we create that long form content, watch your video and your viewers. Now, it's interesting, what I am finding with this is when I do go live, you can't trust those numbers for days. Like, it can be 2-3 days later and I'm still getting in trickles for the live. So it's also this thing that you have to, like, again, that's why I'm saying pull away from the numbers and just watch what happens and watch your own content and get more comfortable with doing it, because that's going to be the better thing versus numbers. So you create it, you watch how it's getting viewed, you watch it yourself, you assess it, maybe you decide to make shorts out of it, maybe you're going to cut it up. Once it's there, you can do a lot of things with it. But if you don't make it, we can't even improve, right? And when you're assessing it, that gets you that number 4 here, where it's about improve, fix weak spots, notice things, notice, oh, maybe I need to do my call to action more often. Oh, this week I only asked them to subscribe at the beginning. I forgot to subscribe in the middle or at the end, or mention this, right? Like, where can you improve? Where can you add into your videos, right? And then you repeat, because that's the only way you're going to get better, is repeating and implementing these ideas and consistently to see yourself get better. So it's really how to do it, you got to start making the videos. Focus on strong hook, what your value is, and flow. Those come, but you got to start showing up because nothing else matters, right? We can use chapters to improve viewing experience, but that doesn't matter if there's nothing there to put the chapters in. And studying your analytics, well, you can't study those if there's no videos to study, right? So we see how this is a
And
system.
also don't judge yourself based on analytics, because it's a long game. And the only way your audience is going to find you is if you're actually putting out content. So
And that is true because there's
increasing that frequency, and we've seen this with like our students in the YouTube visibility engine. They're like, well, we have shorts we could repurpose. I'm like, okay, great. We got your YouTube channel. Let's schedule the shorts to go out, because the goal is at the end of the 8 weeks we're going to have 30 pieces of after we teach you how to go do long form and chop it into shorts. You're going to have 30 pieces of content ready to go out on a drip schedule, so that way you can continue the process of making the content every single day, so you can just build up this schedule of always content going out. So as you are attracting an audience, there's always something for the audience to view. And then we'll look at those analytics, because some shorts you know, may get 5 views and some are going to be in the thousands. And then you're like, okay, we need numbers to improve. But the only way we're going to get numbers to help you
and well,
improve.
and then if is making content, so we're just like a circle, just a
Content,
cycle.
content, content.
Um, what is interesting is even numbers don't prove anything. It does not, because I was mentioning this, and I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but there was a trend of showing your dog paw and then showing the dog. There was this trend that I had done with each of my dogs, and it's just this short 10-second clip, and it ranged on the views of them. And there was one where I'm like, why do I not get any views? And then I posted it a different day and I got different views. So so the reality again, timing can change views. So that's why, if you've got a good video and it didn't do well, we can do strategies to re-implement or
Re-release it.
republish it at a later time at a different time too, right? Because it doesn't mean it's bad. It still exists. And actually, one of the videos I was watching, somebody said, you don't want to delete your videos. You want to
No,
think of
no,
your
no.
videos. You want to think of your videos as lotto tickets. That's what they want you to think. Your YouTube videos are lotto tickets. Every video you make is another entry into the lotto of when your videos are going to be seen, and you never know which one is going to take off. One of them will, at some point, gain traction and be one that you're like, holy crap, I made that 3 years ago. And suddenly now it's relevant because somebody looked something up, they started following you, they started pushing it, and then it caught on as a trend. And that is actually quite normal. I've seen many, many content producer or content creators who are like, this started showing up on my feed as like a top video and I made it 4 years ago, right? So the idea is to think of that every video you make, every piece of content is a lotto ticket in the universe of YouTube. But again, we don't want you to be sitting here hoping and dreaming of money off of YouTube. We want you to make it as part of your strategy so you can find your customers. And that's really so you're getting the return on investment way before you ever necessarily monetize. But let's talk about now the two ways you can get monetized on YouTube so everybody is clear. Because I wasn't really clear about it because it has changed since I got my monetization. Because if this would have been in place, we would have, where am I there? Uh, it would have been different on how my monetization would have worked, but that wasn't how it worked at that point. Okay, so you can see the monetization.
As we've explained, YouTube's always changing,
It is.
and we are just documenting our experiences with YouTube for the world to just learn, since we are in that YouTube partner program, which is like this tiny little niche group of originally 1,000 subs and 4,000 watch hours. It will evolve and change since there's so many new YouTubers making content and
And YouTube wants to make money off of you. They do. They actually want to make money off of you. That's what I'm learning. They want you to create better content so you get paid so they can run ads on your content. So YouTube actually wants you to make content. They don't really want to shut down your content. They don't really want to do any of that. They want you making money so they can make money. And that is actually the underlying truth. And as a side note, I've been watching because there's been an influx in the last couple of months of content creators making videos that they've gotten demonetized. And what is seems to be a trend is even content creators who have been around for a while are getting these notifications are suddenly demonetized. What it looks like on my end is YouTube is literally pushing out and testing. If you still exist, you're still real. And I think some of these content producers or content creators have been around for a very long time. I think they really want updated ID. So, and the only way to force you to update your information is to close down demonetize you, tell you you have to show them a video of you existing, tell them that you are real, and then they'll just go, oh, well, we mistaken this.
it's literally just the bot cleanup of YouTube.
That is what I'm really getting is that they want new ID, they want to make sure you are real, and they're going through a lot of these back accounts. So if you have been monetized and you get this now and you've not been using AI, you didn't break any rules, it really sounds like from them because they're easily getting back up and monetized. Most of them are. So it really does look like they're doing a back end cleaning. And the only way to force people to do stuff is to literally cut them off. And we know this. There's a lot of people that won't go be like,
Hey,
add your extra step of authentication. I will avoid that till they force me to do it, right? So I think that that's really what's kind of
when
happening.
it,
But
well, it's like
that's a side note. That's a side note.
it's like when they said we don't like your bank account information and it's happened to us recently with Julie's account and because there was money waiting to be paid out.
Yeah.
And YouTube's like, we don't like that you have money waiting to be paid out. And we're like, okay, but we submitted our bank account information. And every time you make a change on YouTube with monetization, it stops your monetization, which is kind of disheartening.
Well,
And then
you literally kind of go into limbo.
you
You go
go
into
into
a
limbo
limbo phase.
you go into limbo for 32 days, which is very stressful. And you're not really sure because they don't communicate with you at all. But this is why we're documenting these processes so that way when we talk to students who are we know exactly and we're like we've gone through it with multiple accounts monetization and getting bank account information rejected and being put on these hold patterns where you still need to be mentally in that place where you're making content regardless of what limbo is happening with your YouTube account because
Exactly. Because
YouTube
it's
want because you don't want to quit. You need to keep on going and just wait for things to be resolved, like
yeah.
ID updates, tax information you have to fill out. Like there's just
So, and yeah, so again, if your motivation is only monetization, we don't want you to get discouraged. We want you to stay on that. Even if you're in this limbo phase, which I was in, you're still showing up, you're still building your back end, you're still reaching out to your viewers, potential customers. The same signal keeps happening, even when this is unknown. Because really, what you can do is we're building that client list wherever you can be seen, right? So now, to kind of go back to the monetization, there is now just the two tiers that do exist, which has only been in the last year. So the tier one is that early access that we were talking about, which is tip jar. So it unlocks ways for your fans to support you directly. So you can get super thanks, super chats, and channel memberships, which I was mentioning, which is kind of like their version of Patreon/school that can be behind a channel where you can just do videos for people who are your members on your channel. I believe you can add stores, of course, to it. I believe the fourth wall store, which you can then open for free as a YouTube, I believe you can do it now at this tier as well, which is a huge perk. So to get to this tier, you've got to have 500 subs, 3 public uploads in 90 days, and 3,000 public watch hours over 12 months, or 3 million views on your shorts. So it's just another way to get support from your audience as you are building. You've got all of these back end things that are now open. Now to get the full monetization, that still is the same. So that's when you're getting the ad revenue when they're running commercials on your shows or on your shows, on your videos. That one you still do need the 1,000 subs. You need that 4,000 watch hours. This one you need 10 million short views in 90 days. And of course, no community strikes. You got to be authenticated. You have to give them all, your kidney and everything like that. And you've given them all your information to get the AdSense account. So that gives you an idea of like we've got the different steps in the background, and we definitely want to, make some money off of it. But the reality is there is a lot of return on investments besides just the money. It's all the ways you can communicate and get access with to your potential customers. So what we wanted to do before we end today was just remind everybody that we are going to be going into, let's see if this changes. Here we go. You can see this new one into our next 8-week session. So I wanted to mention this because literally June 1st is in 4 weeks. Okay, we are May 1st this Friday. So I wanted to put this out there that it is time to stop planning and start making. If you need, the content needs to be made, and if you need that push, because we are literally holding your hand through this process, this is the time to do it. We are promoting and keeping our $9.97 founder pricing till May 15th. So if you are wanting to do this, want to start with us June 1st, you're going to get the best pricing before May 15th. You can join us at the same discounted pricing. Then it is going to jump to the new pricing of $14.97. But this is, again, everybody knows you're making videos is the growth. Multi-platforms is the reach. Getting into that content, getting into that process is the goal, and getting you accountable is what we're going to do. And we're going to help you get that set up, because a lot of people we're running into, they need help getting a lot of these processes set up and comfortable with using the technology enough that they can then live stream or make the content as effectively as possible. So it's not a course. What we're actually doing, you're going to get 16 sessions in this 8-week. We are doing 2 one-on-one accountability sessions or group sessions. So we're doing at least one one-on-one per week, if not 2, because we're trying to do group sessions as well. But some of this stuff, we're working directly one-on-one with the clients. Do you have anything to add with that, Mike?
We're literally each of our students right now is in a different spot with their YouTube channel. Some have existing channels with like 5, 6 years old, where we're coming up with new design, showing you the easiest way to change your thumbnail. Like it just like each person needs different help with their YouTube channel, because some are great with making videos, but not with promoting themselves, not adding so it's like step by step. We have strategy for step one that we take care of week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, because the main point of the visibility engine is building out your work, learning you and your weekly schedule, and building out your workflow so that way you have content, and
And the
then
process.
giving you a whole good, reviewing something on a Monday, giving you homework, following up with you on a Thursday to verify it's being implemented, and then following up with you between Thursday and this class on Saturday, and then on Monday. So it's like each week, do something new, learn something new, apply it, and build it into you. I'm literally texting the students every single day. I'm like,
Yes.
how's this going? How's this going? If you have an issue with the technology flow, I'm remoting into your computer and
And
stepping you
helping.
through.
Exactly. So this is not, we're coaching you through this, I guess, because I hate the word coaching, but we're literally coaching you, holding your hand and helping you get those steps done and in order, so you don't have to have the same situations like we do. So we know now that trimming before you make shorts is super important. So you don't have to waste and duplicate your work, making sure you have a process of how you're going to get the shorts posted, how you're going to do your live or your long form, and what's going to work for you, your business, or your personality, right? So there's 16 sessions in the 8 weeks. So it'll be from the June 1st till the end of July. The next session won't be again till August, maybe September after that. So YouTube is where we stay, but it's not our only bet. We're going to help you get set up on other platforms. And why you want to get on certain platforms, because now we're getting students that are getting accounts set up on other platforms for certain benefits that they do give for when you get your videos up there. And it's really the return on investment. We want it across at least 5 platforms, your content, if not more. We want the inquiries and engagement on a regular basis. We're going to help you be accountable, and we're going to help you get authority in your space. So it's ad revenue, subscribers, videos. Those are the bonuses. It is the clients reaching out because they found you online and like seeing what they saw is what we really want to help you accomplish. So again, you're getting your sessions, you're getting the one-on-one accountability, you're getting direct support. So if you're having problems with the tech end, Mike will help you with it. We're doing videos we're doing one-on-ones with one of our students where Mike asked some questions. We recorded that. Now we want to do it from a different perspective where he's going to sit in a different location and I'm going to ask him questions. So we're getting him some different content with both a woman and a masculine asking questions, right? So we're doing all of that type of stuff. Sorry?
I said you said masculine.
Yeah, masculine, feminine,
Okay.
male, feminine. Oh wait, okay. That could be racist or wrong or something. Content strategy, distribution, how you're going to get it, help clip planning, recording. We're making lists, we're putting that together and making that repeatable system. So we're going to send this email out. So you'll have this for you. If you want to apply and get signed up, you can log in, sign up by May 15th, you get the discounted rate. After that, everybody going forward, it's going to be $14.97. And we're only taking 10 people because we cannot actually do and how much we want to work one-on-one with people. You're getting a huge amount of value for this. We can't actually take on more than 10 people. That's pretty much our max. So we are limiting this group because we physically, for what we want to do, can't take on more than that. Is there anything else that you'd like to note on that, Mike?
No, we've had students where they've got one workflow for thumbnails. We're showing them different ways to do it because it's just showing you the tools that we're using and building them into we're literally coaching you through making sure you're making content, building out that workflow and understanding how everything implementing it into your business so that way after the 8 weeks it's repeatable. You can do that yourself. You can of course always continue to pay for coaching. We're open to that as well, but after
We
8
want to
weeks
give you a plan that you
after
can
eight
take
weeks you
away.
have a system in your business in your weekly workflow where you're like, hey, I know exactly how many lives or recordings, because there's a lot of you that already have video content and you just need to repurpose it. Like you've already recorded a bunch of stuff. We just need to show you how to use video editing tools that you're comfortable with and chop them up into shorts and get that,
Exactly. Comfortable
get them
and also
scheduled in YouTube.
pricing. Also pricing because we do look at your budget and we can give you options around budgets and if you have bigger budgets versus lower budgets because we know both, right? So we go and walk you through all of that. But some of
Exactly.
the big objections, which I did put here because I know these are the big ones, is the time, right? So that's why we want to give you a month so you can get yourself prepared for June and July to commit to getting this process in place. And really, so then once we're done, like Mike said, it's a non-thinker. It becomes part of your natural routine, part of your
I
normal
know people
process.
say they don't have time, yet I know that they're Netflixing and chilling. And I'm like, really, you could record a 1 hour with a script. You don't have to do it live. You could just record an hour of yourself with Restream on your computer, throw that through a clip generator, and if it's a structured speech or you reading from your book that you have, 1 hour of recording can be it's like 10, 20, 30, 40 clips. It's just that
Exactly,
simple.
exactly. Well, and when you think about it, how much doom scrolling people have. They go on to post something on one social media and then they've wasted easily half an hour to an hour where you could have been more successful planning, making a video, making a short, doing something, right? So we do have the time, and we all know we need to make it because that is the reality we're in now, especially now with this Uranus and Gemini. It's about how we communicate. And we are definitely going into the AI technology age. We've already been there. We've seen this trend go up. It's not going backwards. It's not. We're going to continue. So you're going to have a voice that people can see and find online to be heard.
Your
And then
second,
again, we will.
your second question here for objections is exactly the conversation we had with somebody last
Yep,
night.
exactly. Right
What
here.
if I
So it
did,
is.
what if I get stuck and I'm like, and I was having this, the Zoom call last night with somebody's like, I've been told to hire you, and I'm like, perfect. And I'm like, what are you currently doing? And the person's response is, I am paying for StreamYard and I've never used it. And I'm like, why are you paying for? Because I want to do this, but I need somebody to hold my hand. I'm like, that's precisely why you've been referred to us. It's because I'm going to remote into your computer and make sure if you don't want to use, if you're paying for StreamYard and you're not using it, why don't we just cancel that and get you Restream, which is free for two platforms, and get you used to Restream, and then
Build from there.
I'm just
Once
gonna
you're
bug you every
doing it.
single day to do a live with me, give me questions, and we're gonna do a ask the doctor, ask the ask the plumber, ask the realtor. Like it's that simple to make content. It's just
I,
you need.
well, exactly, right? So you're going to get the support. So if you're having problems and things aren't working together because we're tech ass, Mike's last 30 years of being 30 plus years of being a tech expert, we've got that knowledge on top of that. So we're going to make you successful. We'll help you get these things working properly. And if you don't understand something, and will it actually work? If your business can benefit from clients finding you, then it's going to. Like, that's 99% of business. You need to be found. So you either have money, and there was three. Okay, we were listening. Was it the AI guy that was talking about the three ways to be found or whatever? The three.
It was Sam Altman, the founder of OpenAI, which is ChatGPT.
Okay, so it's one, you email out to your list and beg people, right? So you got your email list, but you have to build that email list somehow, right? So you've got to have this email list that somehow you've built. What was number two?
Um, I
So
don't
I just
remember.
remember it was the bad email list. It was the reporters. It was getting a write up, getting a news article done,
Press
which
releases.
a press release, which might do well once, but you got to convince them to keep doing press releases for you. And then the third is just throwing money into advertising, like literally just throwing it in, hoping something will stick.
The third was Facebook ads and Google ads, and he's like, I don't recommend doing that stuff until you've done the first two.
Exactly. So we've got to build our list. We got to build and find our clients. This is getting seen. And then also once you've built this data, this digital stuff, you can always repurpose this stuff, especially when you get a process of promoting your business in your content. You can repurpose it to be real commercials. Like it's a every business can benefit from this and should be doing this. And then what happens after 8 weeks? The idea is that you've got a good start on videos, you've got your plan, you can go forward. And after we can continue being your production management team, which will be an option you can add on, or you continue going forward and then you can work with us on one-off businesses if you needed more help again. So we don't abandon you. We're no disappear after that. So it's really getting that you're ready to do it. If this has been something you've been debating about and everybody we talk to this is the time to sign up. Make sure you do get signed up before the 15th of May. You're going to get the better deal. And even after the 15th of May, it's still a really good deal for $14.97 for the amount of hand holding we're doing.
I'm super cheap.
This is really
Just
cheap for
because
the amount of hours that we're doing.
tech support, I charge way more, like $300 an hour
And
plus.
you're going to
So
get that added in. So this is a huge
exactly. This is super, but this is super cost effective. But it's because I
exactly.
want you to win, and I want you to be part of the initial group of YouTube famous students, because I know everybody out there making content, how inconsistent they are, because I'm seeing the Facebooks and the YouTubes, and I review YouTube channels every single day because I see people posting jobs for YouTube production managers, and I go look at their YouTube channel, and I'm like, you're hiring a salaried position, yet you guys haven't posted a video in 6 months. So this is probably
Well,
why
I
they're
think that person's going to be making videos. That's really what they're going to be doing. And then they
pretty
have to go through the whole
much,
process themselves, right?
pretty much.
So
So
go to IamYouTubeFamous.com. That's where we can register. We will send this out as well, follow-up
we're
email.
just notifying you that we're sending you another email today, this weekend, with the an invitation to join us on the next session that starts in June 1st, right?
And yeah, exactly. And if you are been sitting here, which I'm assuming most people have been, if you're not making content and you're showing up, you're on that borderline. This is the decision to get you going forward. Join the 8 weeks and get the best pricing. So on that, um, we'll leave it open. If there's any more questions or if anybody has any questions, let's do a final, if there
I don't
final
think
ask if you
so.
have any questions. I don't think there is, but
Thank you.
while we're finishing up, if you do any questions, post them or raise your hand. But I wanted to point out because we are working on making sure people know when we're going live. So again, every week we come here wherever you're watching us. We come live Saturdays, 9 a.m. Eastern, where you can come and ask us questions and talk about what you're going through. This is also will continue. So when you join our 8 weeks, this is just an extra session. You can always join us if you're having want any more questions or to share with everybody in the group. We are also starting a new show tomorrow. Mike and we're starting a new show called Too Real Live. So this is gonna be 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern. So do join us for our first one. We're gonna do it as the I Am an Asshole series, where we're gonna do 2 truths and a lie, and we're gonna do them on text stories. So we're gonna read the stories, we're gonna discuss them, how you would handle it, and then you have to guess which one's made up. So we actually made one story up. So it's gonna be we wanted to do something a little bit fun and try something different. So that is tomorrow night. So do keep eye open to watch for that. Are you excited about that show, Mike?
Um, I'm always excited about shows. Even if my voice doesn't sound like I'm excited. I was just Thursday was the one you did Thursday was good because you I didn't when you asked me if I had any input or any feedback, and I'm like, No. And then once we were live, then I had input or feedback, right? So of course that can be normal. That I've been in front of cameras so much between Zoom calls and then doing acting classes over Zoom and then in person the last 3 summers in New York, New Jersey, in front of real cameras with scripts. So it's just kind of funny how to see how people you're asking me for feedback, and when you originally gave me the ideas, I'm like, I have no feedback. I have no feedback. But then when it's time to go live, um I'm not somebody with too many words until I'm like really excited or I'm like in that like I go from no feedback to I got a ton of feedback. So it's just kind of funny how it works that way because I know when I've been on set in front of cameras with other actors and they just seem like they're in a daze or they're too stressed or whatever. Like they're like, I can't memorize any lines. And then they get in front of the camera and it's completely different personality, right? So it's just kind of funny you asked me for feedback before we went when we were planning it out. So right now you're asking me, I'm like, oh, I guess I'm ready. You've given me the idea and the stories, and I'm like, I'm probably not going to be ready until we go live, and then that other mode gets turned on.
Well, and it's interesting because I feel like what you're really explaining, like for some people, pre-recorded is the way to go. Like that's going to be their comfort zone, and then they'll want to stream what they've recorded after as making it look like they're live. I do see with their personality and my personality. For me to commit, I have to put that live time in and show up at that time. And as soon as I show up, I'm in that character. I'm able to do what I need to do. Whereas if I had to set a time outside of committing to publicly show up, I may not show up. So it's interesting knowing how the cues are. So for myself, putting out there live that I'm going to show up at these times and I'm committing to it live is a bigger for me than me internally just committing it, saying, oh, I'll just show up live on Sundays or whatever. Well, without committing to the bigger view, even if nobody actually even knows, but I've put it out there and I've put out that's it, like for Sunday at 7 p.m. I will show up and I will be like ready to go. So it's again, and that's what we will do with our students is find out what your motivation is. Because if you need that, going live might be the best way to commit to doing that regular long form video. Because you commit to the audience, even if it's your couple people that are watching you and you're showing up every week at that same time, you're committing to giving it's like for myself, the motivation's outside. Even if it's just one person that's watching, that's expecting me to show up, I'm going to show up for that one person. So that works for me. So we want to work with you. And what's going to be your motivation to keep showing up? Is it going to be just to reach that one extra client or just to reach that one other person?
And what, and really, that's a good, what's that one extra, we're all doing this to get one extra client, right? Because one extra client per month, then if we're going to increase that to one extra client per week versus one extra client per day, $9.97 is a steal of a price for having a content engine built out for you based from people who've already been doing it for a year. We've been building our production cycle for years, and now we're like, hey, it's weekly. Now this is all down pat, and we're saving you so much time, energy, and frustration because we've wasted so much time and so many dollars and so many resources going through the steps.
Yeah.
And travel, like how many times have we been to YouTube head office just to be like, hey, and talking to other people. The other people are like, and getting experiences. Like we're just taking all the experiences we've learned ourselves, and then the conversations we've had with other people. We're like, okay, this is how you do it more efficiently. When I was told to start a show, it was like, hey, go record, go record, go record. Bring me back 13 episodes that are 30 minutes long. A lot of people can't do that.
And in fairness, I struggled with that. I did do it
So
twice. I did do it twice, but it was a hard struggle to get that out. Whereas it is much easier for me to commit once a week to talk about what I
exactly, and
want to
this is
talk about.
why I take the approach where I'm just like, you may already have existing content that we just need to reframe, repackage, or we're shooting new stuff. But I can come up with a lot of ideas. We're just like idea generation engine. Like we're just coming up with ideas. I'm like, hey, and you know what? It's funny because when we're talking to talking to the students in the current visibility group, just the smile, the reactions you get when you're like, hey, I like this. What's your feedback? Oh, it was so amazing. I'm so happy that we did this and that we're doing it this way. And I'm like, I'm glad that you're happy that we're finding ways you ways you want to promote. We're coming up with ideas and you give me the feedback because if you don't like one idea, I'm just going to put that on the back burner. I'm going to reintroduce it to you when you're more comfortable with the other ideas, right? Because
Well,
there's no
there's so many ways to go. It is overwhelming. Like if you actually think about like the YouTube, the type of content, there's so many possibilities, but we want to like step it back and make it keep it simple, stupid, right? Like keep it simple as we can and then start to add the extra dimension so you're not overwhelmed. So start with the base of what you can commit to and then start expanding from that. So on that, because now we're at an hour and a half. Let's finish up. Thank you everybody for joining us once again for our weekly YouTube University. We will be back next Saturday again at 9 a.m. Eastern. So do join us and come and check us out. Come join us on Sunday and give us some feedback on our Am I the Asshole tech series and know what you guys think about it because it'll be interesting. We've never tried a platform like this, or this type of technique. So we'll see how that works out. I'm excited to try that tomorrow night.
Yeah, we need to put that I need that graphic to go post it everywhere.
Well, do you want to ask me like 5 times and I'll just ignore you?
I've been fixing your app and hacked websites and hacked email servers all week, and my brain is just at the end of like, why is something else broken that I need to fix?
Oh, you know what?
It's much more enjoyable making content with people and doing a Zoom call and saying, where are you stuck and where are you frustrated? And if I ask you if I give you one piece of homework and I follow up with you in 48 hours, will you have that homework finished for me? That's much more enjoyable in my day than solving tech issues.
However, you're still gonna have to, because
Oh,
unfortunately,
I get it.
technology
I
is
get it.
never going away. It's just gonna be worse with this Uranus and Gemini is just gonna bring technology to an
That
all new level.
that's your world for you to explain it to me.
I'm gonna say if you are interested in that, you've got to go to Breathe Within Yoga on the YouTube, and my last live, which talks about money and your relationships, I go into it. It was really interesting and it will give you a very good perspective. I'm going to go over it again tomorrow morning with my live, but it is, the more I understand things, the more it makes sense. That's all I can say. But we are definitely, there's not going to be less tech issues at this point. Not for the foreseeable, until tech gets a lot smarter, which is part of what we're going to see with this AI adoption and technology and where that goes, because I know they really want to have AI be able to code, and we have a whole opinion on that in my video.
Actually, there's stuff from like you're just gonna open
You know
up.
what? With the advancements in technology, we might. Right now, it seems like a long shot, but you know what? It's a very much, if we look back at even like anything in the last 20 years, how many things thought like it would be a long shot, and now what our reality is. And one of the things I also cover is that back in 2020, they said by 2026, there would be over 1 million drone deliveries, and we are on par for that. So now, with this new Gemini or Uranus and Gemini, we are on par to over 1 million deliveries through drones. And actually, Rwanda is like headlining it with this like zip line technology, which is actually through the United States like Department of Defense. That's a rabbit hole to go down. Anyways, on that side note, we will see everybody same place, same time on next Saturday, and do join us on Sunday. Anything else on that, Mike?
No, and
Okay.
just if you got questions about the visibility engine, the next group starting June 1st, you've got my email address. You go to the IamYouTubeFamous.com website. If we're on Facebook, friends, just send me any questions. We will answer all your questions for you. We've got people signing up for it. So the group of 10, I'm hoping is full real before the price cut off on May 15th. So get in before the price goes up, because there's so much value in there. Like you're getting me hands-on minimum twice a week or longer, and Julie as well. And we're going through and building out your YouTube, your content, and making sure you have that 30 pieces of it. Half a year's worth of content minimum ready on a drip schedule after 8 week intensive with us. Like it's a crazy deal. Because we want you to succeed, and you're going to succeed because we're going to make sure we build out that workflow for you. So
Exactly.
anyway,
Exactly.
I think we got a craft sale we have to go attend
We
at
have
our
to go
daughter.
support our daughter. She's on her second craft fair, and I know she did sell a product. She's texted me that she's already sold one of her pins, and we have an order for her to make like 25 pins for September.
Exactly. One of our newest YouTube visibility engine. It was somebody I spoke to yesterday. It's like, I need your daughter to make me pins. I need you to help me with YouTube and promote my stuff in September. And I'm like, it's a great time to get started going into May. So it's great.
Exactly. So she's up and going. So by the time September happens, she's gonna be laughing because she's got a system and everything's working easily.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, you guys have a great weekend, and we will see everybody next Saturday. Bye.
Bye.